Hi, I'm Zach, and this is Challenger Vedic Astrology and Tarot. Welcome to the channel. So, today we're talking about why Hajime Isayama created the manga Attack on Titan. And if you like my videos, be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out me in the channel. If you'd like a Vedic Sidereal birth chart, a personal tarot reading, or an astrology consultation, links to those will be in the description box and the comments below. So, Attack on Titan is one of my favorite stories of all time. And it just finished up here a few months ago. There will be obvious, spoilers for Attack on Titan, so if you don't want to get spoiled, don't watch the rest of this video. But Attack on Titan is a very important story to me. The characters really hit hard for me. And we're going to talk about how Hajime Isayama was able to create this amazing story. What placements he has that shows he'd be a mangaka, a Japanese comic creator. And what nakshatras he has that show these themes that play out in his story of Attack on Titan. So, we're going to jump right in, and let's get to it. Okay, so, here we have the birth chart of Hajime Isayama. Wow. So, first thing we see is his ascendant is Cancer. His moon's in Taurus. In his navamsa chart, he's a Libra ascendant with moon in Virgo. Also, funnily enough, just like Akira Toriyama, he is also a Pushya ascendant. All those mangakas overworked to hell. Of course, the nakshatra of workaholics would be their ascendant. So I've also rectified Hajime Isayama's chart. So it makes a lot of sense. But first, let's talk about how he was able to become a mangaka in the first place. A manga creator. Well, Saturn is career. In the birth chart, Saturn is in the 5th house of creativity. Remember, this is third from the 3rd house too. So arts, media. So he would create, art. Now, Venus is how you make your money. Sometimes career and money are separate. Sometimes they're tied. In this case, Venus is in the 3rd house of art and writing. In the nakshatra of Chitra, this is the nakshatra of pictures. So we see, he would draw art. That's how he would make his money. And of course, when Attack on Titan became an anime, or, Japanese animated show, it blew up. He started making a lot of money. Or at least I hope he did. Okay. So now let's talk about some of the themes of Attack on Titan. So we're going to jump around from different planets in his chart. So first off, we have Pushya as the ascendant nakshatra. This is the nakshatra of revenge. This and Jeshta. But we see that clearly with Pushya. So, Attack on Titan definitely is a revenge story. You have the island of Paradise. You have the Eldians that are being persecuted. Marley wants revenge against Eldians. So that theme plays out very prominently. And look, all of these planets in his 12th house in the Navamsa. Saturn, Mars, Ketu, Venus, Moon. As a Libra ascendant. All of these are in the sign of Virgo. In the 12th house. Foreign enemies. That's what this story would be all about. It'd be all about foreign enemies, hidden enemies. Remember, 12th house is hidden enemies. for most of the story of Attack on Titan, you do not know that there are enemies beyond the walls, outside of the Titans. But no, it turns out the rest of humanity itself was the enemy of the Eldians on Paradise. Now, we also have Mercury and Sun in the nakshatra of Maga, royalty, family, ancestry. These are very prominent themes. The story of the royal family and how they had the founding Titan. The Titan that can basically control Eldians. That can turn them into Titans even with their spinal fluid. So we see that as well. Venus and Ketu and Chitra. Chitra's not just pictures. It's also weapons. It's assassination. So, in the story of Attack on Titan, you had Reiner, Bertolt, Annie, that tried to take the founding Titan from the Eldians on Paradise. They were going to do that by assassinating the royal family. So we see assassination. We see weapons being prominent as well, which we see with his ascendant in the navamsa being Swati. Swati is the nakshatra of swords. In Attack on Titan, the Eldians of Paradise fight by flying through the air with their 3D maneuver gear. And they fight by killing the Titans with swords. A sword sliced to the back of their neck. So, Swati's all about flying and swords. Now, the Eldians, in particular the Scouts. The Scouts explore beyond the walls, which the Eldians of Paradise are trapped behind, because Titans are outside the walls. Pure Titans that will try to kill them. I'll explain what Titans are in a second. But Swati is the nakshatra of freedom. They wanted to be free. And the wings of freedom are the symbol that the Scouts wear as their emblem. So the themes of Swati become very significant in this manga. So, Titans are giants. They are Eldians that are made into these giant Titans. Eldians basically being humans otherwise. But these giants eat humans. So we see this theme of giants playing out. Why? His Rahu is in Revati, the nakshatra of giants, in birth and the Navamsa chart. Revati is also a nakshatra tied to time travel. Remember the story of Princess Revati. She had to wait for Brahma because her father wanted help finding a husband worthy of her. And what they didn't realize was that in Brahma's domain, time moved at a different pace. So when they returned to Earth, it was an entirely different time period. So we see time travel becomes very significant. In Attack on Titan, you have the paths. The paths is basically a mechanism where time basically is, always moving. Like, it's past, present, and future all combined into one. Able to be accessed from the paths. So time travel themes are very significant in Attack on Titan. A different perception of time. The Attack Titan can see the future. So we see this theme of time travel, or a different perception of time. Now, we also have Mars in Purvashada. Purvashada is the nakshatra of strategy, of an early victory. So, we see this is a story about war. So, of course, planning a war. Bertolt and Reiner breaking down the walls to try to get the founding titan. Trying to use the other titans invading the walls, invading Paradise, to try to draw out the founding titan. So we see that strategizing coming into play. We have Jupiter in Purvabhadrapada. This is the nakshatra of protecting and harming children. It's a nakshatra of sacrifice. So, one thing you see in Attack on Titan is in order for Titan shifters. These are people that can turn into Titans, but they retain their free will. Their ability to, think. They aren't mindless, basically, like pure Titans are. The way that they become these Titan shifters is by turning into a pure Titan and eating the Titan shifter. So, the person is sacrificed. Purvabhadrapada is sacrifice. It's also tied to cults and cult ideology. Safe to say, but being racist, being taught racism is kind of a cult ideology. The rest of the world is racist towards Eldians in Attack on Titan. Nazi Germany was a big influence on this story. But also we see the theme of protecting and harming children. So children are often made into these Titan shifters. In Marley, they're trained from a very early age to become the next Titan shifters. And of course, harming children, forcing them to be child soldiers. That's what Marley did. But yeah. And then, in the navamsa chart, we see Mercury. Mercury is writing. So we see his writing would also be tied to Kritika. Kritika is world travel. They want to leave the walls, to travel the world, see the rest of the world. Only for them to be disillusioned with how it's just full of humans who hate them. Also, Kritika is tied to cutting and burning. The cut, like cutting a Titan's neck with a sword. But yeah, and we have Jupiter and Rohini. Rohini's tied to vehicles. So, how do we see vehicles with this? Well, Titan shifters, their Titan is almost a vehicle that they control. It's almost like a giant robot. Jokingly, I'm going to use the term flesh mech here. I'm sure some fans will hate that, but it basically is. But, what do we also see? A big theme of Attack on Titan is friendship. Saturn and Anuradha. Work and career tied to Anuradha. Friendship and devotion. So you have very prominent friendships here between the scouts. You have Eren. You have Armin, Mikasa. You have Reiner, Bertolt, Annie. You have Jean. You have Connie, Sasha. All these characters. Hanji, Levi, all have these very strong bonds of friendship frenemies, karmic friendships too, because they find out that Bertolt, Reiner, and Annie had all betrayed them. That they were enemies. That they broke down the walls. That's why Aaron's mother was killed by a Titan. That's why she was eaten. And see, we even see that. Because Pushya is mother. That's what sets off this entire story. His son is in Pushya in the 10th house in the navamsa. Pushya is motherhood. It's the mother. So the whole reason the story begins is because Aaron's mother was killed by a Titan. But with Anuradha, what else do we see? We see the loss of someone that you truly love. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean death, but in this story's case, it does. Because Mikasa has to kill Eren in the end to stop him from genociding the rest of the world. And by the end, he kills 80% of humanity. But alright, so that's been this deep dive into why the story of Attack on Titan was created by Hajime Isayama. And like I said, this is one of my favorite stories of all time. I absolutely love it. It is incredible. And yeah, hopefully you all have liked this video. You know, learning how an artist, a storyteller, makes the stories that they make. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out me in the channel. If you'd like a Vedic Sidereal birth chart, a personal tarot reading, or an astrology consultation, links to those will be in the description box and the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.